ICO, STO, IEO, so many O's these days. DAICO, MICO, PSYCHO, damn too many. So much so that it's hard to keep track of what exactly is going on in this market. But that's why I'm here for you guys. In this video, we'll talk about the different fundraising models in the crypto space. And please watch till the end so you'll know what my favorite is. And I'll explain why it is the best for me and why it deserves more attention. To give you a hint, it's not what you think. ICOs boomed in 2017, which was caused largely by the Ethereum platform's success. When people realized that they could easily invest in a new crypto project without scrutiny from the government or any other entity, they were easily sold to the idea that this could get them rich overnight. So they lined up to buy tokens from projects they've never even heard of in grand expectation of superior returns. And indeed, a lot of retail investors became overnight millionaires, but I dare say they are dwarfed by the sheer number of people who lost fortunes. But why? What went wrong? Well, for starters, most ICO participants aren't really investors. They lack the background to be able to thoroughly assess the intrinsic value of a crypto project. With that in mind, how can they even decide to invest if they don't have a proper way of measuring a project's worth? And that's exacerbated by the fact that 98% of the ICOs were scams to begin with. The 2018 market crash proved that without a doubt. But it's not all bad. Looking on the bright side, ICOs did pave the way for successful cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Cardano and Engine. So instead of bashing ICOs, it's better to improve upon its structure and find a more transparent and less risky way to fund crypto projects. So let's explore the next generation of crypto fundraising. ICOs are so last year, and people are saying STOs are the new game in town. But what are they? They certainly haven't caused much noise as the ICO boom in 2017. And I see that as a good thing. People don't get overly excited as much as they used to, and that is a testament to the overall maturity of the whole crypto community. Unlike an ICO, STOs are security tokens that represent an investment contract into an underlying investment product, such as stocks, bonds, or real estate. In that sense, it is very similar to IPOs. That is to say, it constitutes the ownership of the project itself. Only with IPOs, the ownership information is written on a document and issued as a digital certificate. But with STOs, the same process is done, but it is recorded on a blockchain and issued as a token. STOs offer more security and investor protection indeed, because STOs need to comply with regulation. The barrier to entry is higher, which obstructs scammers and low-quality projects. Furthermore, there's also more oversight on the project to keep the founders on their toes and not slack off or mismanage the funds. On the flip side, since these are securities being offered, countries with strict security regulations such as the US prohibit the average person from participating. Why? Because by law, you need to be an accredited investor to invest in what they consider speculative securities. And what does it take to be an accredited investor? Well, you must have a net worth of $1 million or an annual salary of $200,000 per year for the past 2 years. Great. I don't need to tell you that only the top 1% are qualified to call themselves such. This is an exclusive and closed community. So much for censorship resistance. But there may be some way to get around this. The accredited investor status is, for the most part, enforced only in the US and perhaps a few other countries. This will hardly affect ordinary investors from Europe and Asia. If you live outside the US, the odds are in your favor, although you still need to deal with KYC and AML compliance. I haven't delved deep into the latest developments of STO as it doesn't really excite me all that much, but from what I've found, there are some promising projects. Polymath is the leading STO platform. Their main purpose is to enable trillions of dollars of securities to migrate to the blockchain, and their platform is the answer to that, as it simplifies the legal process of creating and selling security tokens. And what's noteworthy is their detailed guide on the whole tokenization process. They allow you to set up your security token on the platform in a matter of minutes. There are many subsets of STOs, but I'll only talk about the relevant ones. Debt tokens are tokenized assets that represent debt instruments such as real estate mortgages or bonds. A good example for this is Nexo, which is a blockchain company that provides crypto-backed loans. Then there's also ETO, which allows investors to buy equity like any normal stock directly on a blockchain, while receiving the same benefits of traditional equity such as voting rights and dividend payments. So basically like owning part of a company. You get the point, right? A good example for this is the new fund ETO, which raised over 3 million euros last December. What's amazing is the fact that new fund is actually an ETO platform itself, so the founders know how to put their money where their mouth is. This is probably the latest hype circulating around the space. At first glance, IEOs are easily differentiated from ICOs in the sense that it's an exchange that offers the token, not the development team. The best feature of IEOs is instant liquidity. That is to say, you can rest assured that the token you buy can be liquidated, since it is automatically listed on the exchange and can directly tap into their existing user base. This is a significant advantage over ICOs because 70 to 80% of crypto projects don't get listed, making them technically worthless, while the investors take the fall. It also adds more security to investors since the exchange is now representing the project and will thoroughly assess its viability. After all, they are putting their reputation on the line. On the flip side, this could also backfire, as there are some controversies on the transparency of crypto exchanges. Even Binance, which was thought to be relatively trustworthy, is getting a lot of heat lately, which was caused largely by their alleged pump and dump with the BitTorrent token IEO on their platform, which was held last February. I don't know for sure if it really was like that, but the point is, you're still at the mercy of the exchange's good faith. And let's be honest here, most exchanges have anything but good faith. But to be fair, it is still their best interest to protect consumers, as long as greed doesn't take over their decision. If you're looking for an IEO platform, you don't need to look further. Most major crypto exchanges offer such services already. Now, for sure both STOs and IEOs provide a lot of advantages over ICOs. They are a barrier to scams, but here's the thing, they are both centralized. STOs empower the government and regulators, while IEOs empower the exchanges. Why can't we just empower the people, the investors who are risking their hard-earned crypto? That's what DAICO could do. You see, DAICO is a mix between a DAO, a Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and an ICO. It was proposed by none other than the genius himself, Vitalik Buterin. The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think of it as an ICO, only this time the founders can't run away with investors' money or slack off in their development. A Decentralized Autonomous ICO takes the decentralized control aspect of a DAO to protect investors. Unlike ICOs where at the end of the crowd sale they receive the whole bulk of funds all at once, DAICOs lock the funds in smart contracts, while investors vote on what portion of the funds become available to the project team over time, depending on necessity. For instance, if they need a budget for marketing, they raise this to the contributors and they take a vote on whether to fund it or not. The DAICO model empowers the contributors by giving them control. This forces the founders to do right by their investors, or else the contributors could simply vote to cancel the DAICO and withdraw the remaining funds, because they can. That's the beauty of it. I'll be honest with you guys, DAICO is my favorite fundraising model, but it's not perfect. There's this problem with whales being able to game the system. Since the power is shifted from the project founders to the investors, what's gonna stop one whale from using his immense resources to profit at the expense of the project and other contributors? It's a big possibility, and one way to mitigate that if ever it happens is to do KYC for investors. But that's not an absolute fix either. I really want to delve deep into this DAICO model, guys, because from what I've seen, it is the most decentralized method and protects the investors the most. I don't know why not so many people are talking about this. Instead, they're focusing on these STOs and IEOs. Not that it's bad, well, kinda. I just think this funding model needs more attention and needs to be improved because this might be the best. So guys, what do you think? Should I make a video on DAICO alone? Are you interested? Tell me in the comments below, and if this video gets at least 25 likes, I'll do it undoubtedly. So guys, it's all up to you. The key takeaway of this video is that no fundraising model is perfect. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. And say what you want about ICOs, but without it, we wouldn't be here right now. It paved the way for a lot of the innovation in the past 2 years or so. I think STOs and IEOs will add some value to the space, but I just don't think they are that impressive. We already have the stock market, we don't need a crypto version of it. Some of you might not agree with my views, that's okay, but I'd be interested to know why though, so please leave a comment. Appreciate all the support from you guys. I'll see you on the flip side.